Hey guys, so time for another update, final update. I got another 10 to show you. So without further ado, let's get started. First one, Arcade Fire Funeral. The only reason I bought this was because of how highly regarded it is. I first got into them listening to Reflector last year and was not a fan personally. I did not care for that record very much. But this one is a whole different story. I don't really know how to pigeonhole it. I guess it's kind of poppy, rocky. I guess someone will probably yell at me for that tag, but either way, really well written songs. Love kind of like the Baroque style and whatnot. Gatefold, as you probably saw, packaging is really sweet. I really like the artwork, very detailed. The cardboard itself feels really nice too. Uh, Typical black vinyl. I'm trying to get the insert out. The insert's really cool. Obviously, title's Funeral of the album, and it comes with what looks like a funeral bulletin. You have a little thing here thanking the listener for buying on vinyl. And like I said, here's the little funeral insert. It has all the lyrics on it. Actually, it's kind of like a funeral insert, a little bit like a playbill, but it's really cool. Like I said, the record's great. I'm really glad I decided to buy it. It was pretty cheap and obviously very well loved record. So glad I picked that up. Next, one of many metal and hardcore releases in this update, Circle Jerks, Group Sex. I think this was re-released this year, repressed, I'm pretty sure, and they did a bunch of different colors. This one is like seafoam green. See, insert there, the band, lyrics, and here's the record. This definitely isn't my favorite hardcore punk release. It looks clear, but it's green if you can see it, clear green. Yeah, definitely not one of my favorite hardcore punk records, but it's still really solid. Fast, in your face, very straightforward. I prefer some of the more well thought out, well written. They feel more like songs rather than just short punk verse. But once in a while, you just need that. You just need a short, quick, aggressive verse of punk. Next one, Deltron 3030, self-titled album. Del the Funky Homo Sapien on the mic, Kid Koala on the beats. Personally, I'm a big fan of what Kid Koala, his production. I'm still getting used to Del's flow. I really love his lyrics. I'm really looking forward to digging into the story more. But just kind of his flow and his voice is a little off to me right now. But I'm really looking forward to getting into it because the record itself sounds fantastic. Both records are different slick colors. This is blue and purple on one half, and I think the other one is red and pink right here. See, so really cool. All it said in the package was special color, and I didn't realize that this is what they meant. Yeah, I mean, obviously check this out. It's about I think a dystopian future. Is the theme of it. It's a hip opera, like rock opera or whatever. But yeah, I'm really glad I was able to get this. It's a classic hip hop album. I'm definitely going to try to appreciate Del's flow and lyrics a little bit more. Not his lyrics, just his flow and his voice. His lyrics are great, and like I said, the story, I'm looking forward to hearing that more. Next, Descendents, Milo Goes to College. Early pop punk. I think that these guys are really what paved the way for Blink-182, New Found Glory, stuff like that. It's pretty much hardcore punk, but it has kind of that a little bit more melodic edge, a little more hooky, kind of like the aesthetic is a little pop punky. But a great record. Obviously, like most people, I was first familiar with Suburban Home and picked up this record. Typical black vinyl. It's a cool release. One of the records that I was introduced to as a teen with all my friends who were in punk bands, and it was nice. Good record. Next, this is a great release. Have Heart. Songs to Scream at the Song. They're a relatively local band from Mass, from where I live. I remember I was really into what I called melodic hardcore bands like Ghost Inside, For the Fallen Dreams, stuff like that. And when I was talking to a friend about the melodic hardcore I liked, he said, no. Listen to bands like Have Heart. And I I checked it out, and not the disc bands like Ghosts, I don't really listen to them anymore, but this is really, that's more melodic metalcore. This is not to be a genre snob, but I think this is much more passionate. The lyrics are phenomenal. I love everything about this album and this band, their whole aesthetic. You have pictures, lyrics, which it's great to read the lyrics because they're very, very well written, very positive. And vinyl itself, yellow, really cool, really nice. Yeah, just a really, really great release. At the time when I first heard this record, I was a straight edge. I'm not anymore, but it really hit me, and I'm very glad I got to pick it up in vinyl. Really, really cheap too. I think they're one of those bands that appreciate vinyl, and they want to make sure it's affordable, which is great. So yeah, excellent release. Next is a little bit heavier. Incantation, Mortal Throne of the Nazarene. This band is, when I first started getting into death metal, I don't know why I didn't hear about this band more. Obviously, they're well lauded in the death metal world, but I think these guys are one of the most important and at least one of the heaviest, one of my favorite death metal bands that I've ever heard. Very thick, sludgy, just disgusting and brutal death metal. Nice gatefold there. You got lyrics and stuff. Then you have on the back is kind of like an orgy or something like that. There's a poster inside that I was excited to see until I realized it wasn't of this, it was of this. I'll pull it out in a sec, which I can't think of anywhere that I would just put up a giant orgy on the wall. Yeah, but here it is. Let me unfold it. Yeah, that's a little much. That'll make Grandma have a heart attack. But the vinyl itself is a cool brown color right here. It has some black splotches. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be there, but it's not really consistent throughout, so it might just be a mispressing or something. But either way, I love the album. It sounds really great, thick and heavy on vinyl, and I love the gatefold. Very thick cardboard, which is cool. Yeah, great record. This is probably the heaviest vinyl I have. But like I said, I got a lot of metal and hardcore in this update. And actually, the next release isn't so much metal, but it was definitely a tipping point for the creation of metal as I try to close this. Jimi Hendrix, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Are you experienced? This sounds so phenomenal on vinyl, and of course, it's a fantastic record. Gatefold with pictures of Jimi, some information, some lyrics on the front. Typical black vinyl, but inside comes with a nice booklet about the record and about all the stuff, a lot of information, a lot of history about it. Really cool stuff. But yeah, this record, just his playing, his sound, his style is phenomenal. Obviously, very influential. From as far as I know, influential on metal. This is really one of the tipping points for metal to take off. This is not a metal record though, but of course you Purple Haze, Hey Joe, Wind Cries Mary, Foxy Lady. Just great tracks, sounds fantastic, excellent album. Next, something completely different. John Coltrane, Blue Train. I'm a big jazz fan. It's one of the first genres I was exposed to through my grandfather and stuff like that. And I know A Love Supreme, that's his big album. It's his best album. Is his Kind of Blue. But this record is phenomenal. I really like the different styles of jazz. It has many different moods, whereas some jazz records are just kind of very similar throughout. This is a lot of different tones on it. I was hoping that the record would be blue, but it's black, which is fine. It's still a great record. I want to buy more jazz on vinyl because I really like just the act of putting on a jazz record and sitting down and with a glass of whiskey and a cigar, just letting it smooth and ride out. But yeah, great record. Next, Paradise Lost, Gothic. This is a great record. I know that this is, I think, because obviously it's called Gothic. This is what kind of spawned Gothic metal, and you can't hear it so much in this, as in it's not full out Gothic metal. It's more Death Doom, more on the Doom side, but it definitely has the kind of aesthetic, a little bit of hints of the Gothic style. But I love this record. This is really, really nice, really heavy, thick picture of crucifix, lyrics, bands, typical black vinyl. Really cool album. Glad I was able to pick it up. Little pricey, but I think it was worth it. And last but not least, I know my last video, I'm trying to give it away before I talk about it. Last video I talked about Jane Doe, The Verge, is one of those records you have to hear, influential in metal. This one is even more so. This might be the most influential, at least in extreme metal. Maybe not metal overall, it's like Sabbath, but the most important extreme metal record ever, just the influence it's had, especially on death metal, black metal, thrash metal, the big genres of extreme metal. Fantastic record. Love pretty much everything about it. Slayer, Rain and Blood. Pretty much their first 4 albums, like South of Heaven, Seasons in the Abyss, and I guess Haunting the Chapel. What was the first one called? I think it has a song called Black Magic on it. Anyway, regardless, those are all fantastic records. I'll pick them up at one point. But of course, this is immensely important. A very, very influential record, and fantastic at that. Just from start to finish, fast, aggressive, excellent riffs. I'm not the biggest thrash metal fan, but if there was an album I had to put on for thrash, it's going to be this one. Just a great, great record. I don't think there's anything. Yeah, there's an insert. Vinyl's typical black, but yeah, lyrics. Kind of the record label, American Records. Actually, I do have to say, when I first saw this, it brought me back. Because the label itself, let me drag it out. As you can see, that's the label. But one of the first CDs I ever bought was didn't even have a case. It was at a garage sale. It was just a CD of Toxicity by System of a Down, and it was released by that label. It had that pretty much exact design on it, except with the different band name, an album name. So it was really cool to be brought back to that. Anyway, I actually have the next 10 already started. I think I bought 5 the other day. So I'm looking forward to getting another 10, doing another update. Hope you enjoyed this update. Thanks for watching.